Have you ever thought about like how some countries have these just massive populations?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if a state had over 200 million people.
Wow.
That's Uttar Pradesh in India.
That's incredible.
It's actually bigger than most countries in the entire world.
Really?
Yeah, and you shared some really interesting stuff with us about UP. So today we are going to do a deep dive into why this single Indian state is so incredibly significant.
You got it. The stuff you gave me really paints this picture of a region that isn't just huge, but like deeply layered with history and super diverse culturally. And it's like completely central to where India is and where it's going in the future. I think our goal today is to just go through all this information and like pull out those key insights that really highlight how important Uttar Pradesh truly is.
Exactly. You gave us like a ton of info, everything from where it is geographically and its ancient origins up to its modern industries and like how politically influential it is.
Right.
We've got details on languages, its religions, the festivals it celebrates, art, and even its food, which I have to say is famously delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, we're going to explore its economy, the big players in its political scene, how it's administered, education, challenges it faces, and obviously some of its most iconic landmarks.
Cool.
So to kick things off, let's look at where Uttar Pradesh is geographically.
So Uttar Pradesh is like right in the middle of India. It borders a bunch of other really important states
Okay.
like Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana,
Wow.
and it even shares a border with Delhi, the National Capital Territory.
Interesting.
Up north, you've got Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. So like being right in the center of things has definitely played a role in its history and how politically important it's been for centuries.
And it's not just about its neighbors, right? It's about the land itself. I was kind of struck by how many major rivers run through UP.
Oh, for sure. The Ganges is maybe the most famous one.
Yeah.
It's hugely important culturally and religiously to a ton of people. You can think of it as like a lifeline, just like woven right into the spiritual fabric of India. But then you also have the Yamuna, the Gagara, the Saraswati, and the Ramganga.
Wow, that's a lot.
These rivers aren't just like on a map. Historically, they've supported agriculture and civilization and still do.
Which makes sense when you think about the terrain. It's not just like one giant flat area, right?
Nope, not at all. There's actually a lot of variety.
Okay.
The north is mainly these super fertile Gangetic plains,
Yeah.
which is a big reason why agriculture is so huge for the state's economy. As you go south, it kind of shifts into the Vindhya mountain range, so that all that variety in the land has shaped everything from the types of crops to like where people have lived throughout history.
Okay, so we have a good picture of the land. Let's rewind the clock a bit. The history of Uttar Pradesh sounds incredibly long and impactful.
Yeah, it really is. This region was a big deal even way back during the Indus Valley civilization, thousands of years ago.
Wow.
And then later on, you had the rise and fall of these big empires like the Mauryas.
Mauryas.
Yeah, I think Ashoka. And then the Guptas, which was like a golden age for India. Then it became part of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire, which you can still see their influence today in the architecture and culture.
Yeah.
So basically, this long and rich history has really shaped the state's culture and what it looks like today.
And bringing things a little closer to the present Uttar Pradesh was right at the center of India's fight for independence, right?
Totally. Uttar Pradesh was like the heart of the 1857 rebellion. Many historians consider it like the first war for independence from the British. The region was full of political activity and resistance movements during the whole colonial era. Like people here really wanted to govern themselves.
And it sounds like that drive has carried over into independent India. UP has been a big player politically since 1947.
100%. Since India got its independence, Uttar Pradesh has been like this major force in national politics. Like, it's kind of amazing, but a bunch of India's prime ministers have been from Uttar Pradesh. Yeah, which shows just how important it is and how much it can influence the direction of the whole country.
Okay, so let's move from these like big historical moments to something a bit more personal. What makes UP's culture so vibrant and diverse?
Well, even just the languages are fascinating. Hindi is the official language, and a lot of people speak it. But there are also these distinct regional dialects, like Awadhi, spoken around Lucknow,
Okay.
Raj, which is spoken in the Mathura-Agra region, and Bundeli. Each has its own unique flavor and literary traditions.
Interesting.
Then, in cities like Lucknow and Meerut, Urdu is also important historically and culturally. It's really like this tapestry of languages all in one state.
It's like a state within a state when it comes to language. And the religious picture is just as varied, right?
Definitely. Hinduism is the main religion, but Uttar Pradesh has one of the biggest Muslim populations of any state in India. Then you've got smaller groups of Sikhs, Christians, and Buddhists. All this religious diversity makes for a really rich and interesting social fabric.
And all that diversity really comes alive during the festivals, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. The festival calendar in Uttar Pradesh is packed.
I bet.
Major Hindu festivals like Diwali, Holi, Navratri, and Dussehra are celebrated like crazy with tons of people involved.
Cool.
And then at the same time, you have the Muslim festivals like Eid and Muharram
Yeah,
and Sikh celebrations like Guru Nanak Jayanti. They're all celebrated with a lot of respect and community involvement.
that's awesome.
It really shows this shared cultural spirit.
And we can't forget about the art. I was reading about Kathak dance and the classical music.
Uttar Pradesh has contributed so much to Indian classical arts, like Kathak that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It was born and really took off here. And the region has been like this breathing ground for Hindustani classical music. Lots of famous musicians have come from here over the centuries.
Cool.
And then you can't forget the architecture. The Taj Mahal in Agra and the Kashi Vishwanath Temple in Varanasi are like these amazing examples of its artistic and architectural heritage.
Speaking of things that make an impression, the food. The Mogwai influence, those incredible kebabs, the biryani, just thinking about it makes me hungry.
The food in Uttar Pradesh is amazing.
It is.
You can really see the Mughal influence in the dishes, like those super tender tunde kebab and daludi kebab.
Oh my gosh.
Lucknow is famous for its chaat. And then there's the fragrant biryani, made in all these different regional styles. You got to try the petha from Agra. It's this unique sweet treat.
Yeah.
UP's cuisine is really a mix of cultural exchange and local ingredients.
All right, my mouth is watering. Let's switch gears to the economy. What powers such a big state? Agriculture seems to be a key part.
It is. Agriculture is like the backbone of the economy in Uttar Pradesh. It brings in a lot of money and gives jobs to a huge chunk of the population. UP is a top producer of crops like wheat, rice, sugarcane, potatoes, and maize.
Wow.
It's also super important for India's sugar production, and it exports a lot of agricultural products.
But it's not just farming anymore, right? I saw something about a growing industrial sector.
That's right. While agriculture is still super important, Uttar Pradesh's industrial sector is getting bigger all the time. There's a lot going on in textiles, food processing, and traditional crafts. Lately, the state's seen growth in things like making cars, IT, and pharmaceuticals. It's becoming more diverse in what it produces.
And then there's tourism. With sites like the Taj Mahal, it must be a huge draw for visitors.
Oh, totally. Uttar Pradesh is one of the most popular tourist destinations in all of India. The Taj Mahal and Agra Fort are obviously world famous.
Yeah.
Varanasi is this ancient city and super important spiritually and draws tons of visitors from India and abroad.
Cool.
And then there's Mathura, it's where Lord Krishna was born, so it's a big pilgrimage site and a tourist attraction too.
Yeah.
Plus Prayagraj is where they have the Kumbh Mela, this gigantic religious gathering that brings in millions of people. It's truly a unique event on a massive scale.
Okay, let's get into something we touched on before, politics. With 80 seats in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of India's parliament, Uttar Pradesh has some serious electoral power.
Yeah, 80 Lok Sabha seats is a lot, the most of any state in India.
Wow.
That gives Uttar Pradesh a huge role in national politics. It can really affect who forms the government and what policies get made. There's a saying that whoever wins UP wins India.
Interesting. And who are the main political players in this all-important state?
The big ones right now are the Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, the Samajwadi Party, or SP, the Bahujan Samaj Party, or BSP, and the Indian National Congress, the INC. Each party has a lot of support and their own ideas about how things should be run, which appeal to different groups of people.
And UP has been home to some of India's most influential political figures over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like we talked about earlier, several of India's prime ministers, like Indira Gandhi and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, were from Uttar Pradesh. And more recently, you have leaders like Yogi Adityanath, the current chief minister, and Akhilesh Yadav, the former chief minister.
Yeah.
They're shaping what happens in the state and where it's headed.
So how is a state this big and important run? What are the main administrative parts?
So the capital of Uttar Pradesh is Lucknow. It's a city that's full of history and culture.
Okay.
And beyond the capital, there are these other big cities that are important regional hubs. Kanpur is a big industrial center. Agra is famous for the Taj Mahal. There's Varanasi, Meerut, Prayagraj, Bareilly, and Moradabad. Administratively, the state is split into 75 districts.
75.
Yeah, that shows just how much work it takes to manage all those people and all that land.
What about education and literacy in a region with so many people?
So the 2011 census said the literacy rate in Uttar Pradesh is about 70%, which is lower than the national average, but it has been getting better in recent years. The state has some top-notch schools and universities, like Banaras Hindu University or BHU in Varanasi, the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kanpur, and Aligarh Muslim University or AMU. These places are vital for education and research in India.
It's clear Uttar Pradesh has a lot of potential, but it also has some tough challenges to overcome, right?
Oh, absolutely. Having over 200 million people creates a lot of challenges. Like, when the population grows that fast, it puts a lot of pressure on resources and infrastructure.
Yeah,
Poverty is a big issue, especially out in the rural parts of the state.
okay.
And even though the cities are developing, they need better roads, health care, and schools all over the state. It's a constant challenge.
We've mentioned them here and there, but let's dive a bit deeper into some of the most notable places in Uttar Pradesh. Agra is basically known around the world for the Taj Mahal.
It's more than just a building. It's like this global symbol of love and amazing architecture. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, one of the seven wonders of the world. People come from all over the world to see it.
Then there's Varanasi. Like you said, it's thought to be one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. That's incredible.
It really is.
Yeah.
Varanasi is super important spiritually and historically, especially for Hindus. It's been around for thousands of years, and it's mentioned in ancient religious texts. It's a really unique and sacred city for millions of people.
And Prayagraj is famous for the Kumbh Mela. The sheer size of that gathering is hard to even imagine.
The Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj is unreal. It's the biggest religious gathering on earth. Millions and millions of pilgrims go there to bathe at the spot where the Ganges, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet. It's
Wow.
this amazing display of faith, and it shows how important culture and religion still are in the region.
And lastly, there's Lucknow, the capital. It sounds like a place with a rich history and a really elegant culture.
It's known for its Mughal architecture.
Yeah.
It was a major center of the Mughal Empire. It's got a ton of history, a vibrant culture, and like we said before, it's known for its delicious Awadhi food and its warm hospitality.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Uttar Pradesh, it's clear that it's so much more than just a big number in a population report.
Right.
It's a state with deep roots historically. It's got a vibrant and diverse culture. It's a big player economically, and it has a ton of influence in Indian politics.
Exactly. When you understand Uttar Pradesh, you start to understand India, its history, what's going on there today, and where it could be headed. The state is so big and influential that it impacts almost every aspect of the nation.
Exploring Uttar Pradesh really gives you a lot to think about.
Definitely.
You see the massive potential it has, but also the big challenges it's working to overcome. With so many people and so much political power, how will the changes in Uttar Pradesh affect not only the state, but all of India?
Good question.
And what about beyond India? What could the global impact be of a region with so many people? It's something worth considering.
I agree.
All right, well, that's Uttar Pradesh. Until next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.